Shreyans, thank you so much for doing this with me, and you are my fourth guest slash victim on this Meet the Maker series.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited for this whole thing. Let's see what are your questions like.
Lovely. So again, my first question to you is, how did your journey in photography start?
Before photography started, I was a tattoo artist, and very honestly, I had no idea if I would want to become a photographer. I always had a phone. I think I had Nokia N73, and I used to click pictures on that, but it was never the thinking I would like to become a photographer. While during that time, one of my uncles, he purchased a camera. I think it was Alpha 57. They had Sony translucent camera. That was the first translucent camera what Sony had created, and everybody hated that camera. Who buys Sony? You should have bought Nikon or Canon. That's what everybody told my uncle also. And then I think he must have got shut down because of that, and he never used this camera. And उनका camera पड़ा रहता था पुणे में. And we were like, अरे wow, wonderful. Let me just take a picture. And then once I shot the picture, I see the picture. It's there on the screen, and it's like, wow. I'm blown away. I'm like, wow, this is wonderful. We are shooting on JPEG only. And then me, my friend, my brother, we all used to play around with that camera a lot. During that time is when I actually started falling in love with that camera, because I just understood, okay, photography is something which we can explore more. And it started as a hobby. And you will not believe, while I was tattooing during that time, I actually thought to myself, okay, I have to buy myself a camera now. So let me just collect money out of tattooing and pick up my first camera. Because I went to my father, told him that I want to buy a camera. I said, fuck off. What is wrong with you? I can't buy you a camera. And very financially, that time we were not so great also. So that was one of those things. I said, okay, fine, theek hai. And tattooing mein kya hai, I used to charge very less. I also learned it on YouTube, and I was not so good with it. So I used to, tattoo with the swing needle. Swing machine with the needle hota usse, and then I used to I had a proper handmade machine. So I used to do it with that, and it wasn't great. So I actually made 500,000, 2,000 rupees karte hue. I made 35,000 rupees, and I picked up my first camera, Nikon 3300 or 3100. If I'm not sure which I picked up, but one of those cameras I picked it up. And then it was a hobby, turned into passion, and it was a profession, and I somehow lost the touch with tattooing completely and got into this, and it has been amazing ever since then.
So now you are into fashion photography. What was it that piqued your interest in fashion photography in particular?
So when I started photography in 2010, I was shooting anything, any Tom, Dick and Harry. I would shoot anything. You called me for a funeral, I would shoot that also, right? I actually shot funeral. I'm not kidding. I shot funeral, I shot birthday parties, I shot anniversaries, events, weddings, and everything. Like whatever came across, I was shooting. Because I was looking at one perspective. Okay, I have to click picture, I have to make money, right? In 2015, I think not 2015, it was 2014. I met with an accident, and that accident happened because I was shooting. I was shooting with this bike company called KTM. I was shooting for them. They used to have this street rides. We used to go to a different location on a ride, and then they hired me to do a photo shoot. And what, they were paying me 3,000 rupees for that. I think this is 2014 or 13 only, if I'm not wrong. So they asked me, I said, ठीक है 3,000 में मिलेगा, चलो shoot कर लेंगे, problem नहीं है. And I went for that photo shoot. I did my photo shoot, and while I was doing my photo shoot, I was sitting pillion with this other guy who was riding KTM. And then we met with an accident. I broke my hand, I broke my leg, the whole camera went inside my stomach types, and it was crazy. I lost one of my kidneys also for that. And I was in coma for 15 or 20 days.
Serious.
Right. And then when I got up, 6 months I'm on a bed rest. I thought to myself, for 3,000 rupees, this is what I've done to myself. Right? So it was passion. Love for photography did not die after that. It got even more tougher, harder, better, whatever you say, right? But what I realized is that I've been running behind wrong things for all my life. I've not been trying to put my mind on one place, trying to focus on one thing, trying to make it big, make it nicer. Okay? So for me, it's not about making it big. For me, it's all about learning and exploring that whole situation and learning it more better. And I should be able to have that kind of knowledge where I could tell people, okay, I know this. And that was my idea. All these when I was just running behind 2,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. And That's when I said, okay, this is not happening. Then I started shooting weddings. I started taking up good big weddings, and that I did because I knew for a fact that if I start fashion right now, I cannot make my equipment. I cannot build my equipment. I had equipment, but I was not building it yet. At that time, I was using Nikon, I think. Yes, sir. And then I started shooting weddings. I shot some quite a good big weddings. People, they really used to hire me. I got famous for that. A lot of weddings I shot. And then one fine day, again, I came back to the same situation. Okay, what am I doing? What is this? I don't like weddings. I used to get very hallucinated about why the hell am I doing all this. Whereas I did not hate weddings. I loved it. It's just that it was not my thing. It was just not my thing. I was doing it for money maybe. I was enjoying it initially, and then later on I realized, okay, this is not happening. I got up one night, I said, okay, not gonna do this. Next morning, I packed everything in my studio. I had a studio in Hyderabad. I packed everything, whatever I had in me. Packed everything, locked everything, shut everything, nicely done. Uske baad mein, in the night, I packed my clothes and everything, put all the things in my car. Next morning, I came to Bombay. And then started my proper fashion. I spoke to all the agencies, called everybody, listen, I want to shoot with the models. And fashion is something I really enjoy. And that's when I realized, because I thought that, okay, maybe fashion also might be the thing or may not be, I don't know. But once I started shooting fashion, I got more creative, I had more ideas. I kept thinking more creative ideas and style of work and this and that. I kept experimenting here and there. So fashion is something which keeps me alive. So that's all it is. That's how fashion happened.
So now in fashion,
Yes.
there are so many different types of photography. There's portraiture, there's glamour, there's high fashion, there's editorial. Out of all of these, which one is something that is very close to you?
So I think fashion on the whole is very close to me. I love shooting editorials. I love shooting with magazines, not these Indian magazines, but I approached a lot of these international magazines, individual international magazines, and I get my work featured there. So that is something I really like, because you getting your work featured in a magazine is something you would really want to talk about, right? And that is always close to your heart, because you are getting featured in a magazine, all your team members' names are coming, and your work is being featured in the international market, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's what I love about. And then I love beauty shoots also. Beauties also, I get them editorial. Of course, I send them to a lot of magazines. And then beauty also I enjoy. I love high fashion also. Problem is, all these things, they come together here and there. So you cannot really choose one particular genre and just stick to that, because I think being an Indian photographer, if you're not connected with an agency, you got to do anything and everything, because पैसा जहाँ से आ रहा है आपको वही देना पड़ेगा. We have to shoot weddings, we have to shoot portraits. I don't like doing that, so I don't get everywhere here and there, but I try to stick myself into fashion. In fashion, whatever I get, I try to take up the project.
You know, how do you go about assembling a team and prepping for this shoot that you're going to do for a client?
Okay, so basically first what I do is I first speak to my client, because client will message you. So your client is illiterate. You have to always understand it. Few clients are very intelligent. They know everything what they want. But most of the clients are illiterate. Why do I say illiterate? As in not as an education wise. Illiterate in the photography industry, right? They have no idea what they want. Most of the time clients, they have no idea what exactly do they want. And how do you want to educate them is the question, right? So first you ask them, what do you want? What are we looking at? They will tell you, okay, I just need a normal campaign. They don't even know the difference between campaign, catalog, or a e-commerce website photo shoot, right? They don't even know the differences between these. They're just like, okay, normal white background shoot. But sometimes the white background shoot is like a catalog shoot, right? Because a lot of catalog shots are like that. And sometimes the catalogs, they'll tell you catalog, but what they meant was campaign shoot. So first, as a photographer, I want to understand what exactly do you want. So I take a diary, I take a notepad, I note it down. I'll take all the information. I have 1,000 questions for my clients. I've got literally 1,000 questions before even I tell them what you call budget or anything. I first ask them 1,000 questions. I mean, not literally 1,000 questions, but there are a bunch of questions I need to ask them. It takes me good 15-20 minutes to talk to them about all this over the phone, or maybe if I meet them in person. Once I get the idea, okay, what exactly do they want, what is their vision, is when I tell them, okay, now what I'm going to do is I will take 50% advance, and then I will start building a team for you. I'll create a mood board for you, and whatever. So I give them a quote and I tell them I will first need 50% advance, only then I will start looking for a model also for you. right? It depends on you if you want to charge 20%, 30%, or maybe you have this 10,000 rupees consulting charges. You can do whatever you want to do. That's how I play my game. So I tell them, give me 50% advance. I will start setting your team, whatever. I'll set the team for you, and then we'll take it forward from there. So for that, now I'll start looking for the right makeup artist, because this kind of photo shoot can only be done by this kind of makeup artist. Not every makeup artist can do the same thing. Of course, I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just that there is a style of work. And as a photographer, it's your responsibility to know what kind of style of work is your client looking for, and that kind of style of work of makeup artist we are looking at.
Right.
Same thing goes with the hairstylist, and same thing goes with the stylist. Maybe it is a designer's photo shoot, you still need a stylist. Why? Because you want to set the right jewelry, you want to set the right heels, you want your stylist to give us a small little vision what exactly do we need in around with that kind of outfit. Because stylist job is not something what photographer or a makeup artist or a hairstylist can do, not even a client. So stylist job has to be looked after with stylist, right? So you have to set your team right first. Once you have that right, then you start preparing a mood board. You set your mood board right, and then you make a mood board. Maybe have a sharing mood board on Google where you can ask your client to add and remove pictures if they like. So you can always be in touch with your client, and then they will tell you, okay, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. So once you set your mood board right, that mood board should be a proper carbon copy of your photo shoot. That mood board should, the moment I see the mood board, I should understand this is the kind of photo shoot I want. That mood board is everything. It plays the major role. If that is not done correctly, your whole photo shoot is gone to dogs. So one photo tip I would like to give you is setting up the expectations. Very important. Set the expectation what the client is looking at. Once you have that expectation, your life is easy. So your second pro tip is setting up your team. Having the standards, right style of people which you want for this genre of work which you're looking at. And the third pro tip, actually, I want to give the third pro tip. That's the major important part about the whole photo shoot. You set the expectation, you set the team, everything is ready, you have the mood board, every damn thing is ready. But execution is very important. So your execution has to be on point, and you can never go wrong if you have all these things right? But you said everything perfectly right, but third thing, execution bit, you just forgot. You did not put in much effort on setting things right on the day of the photo shoot, then everything goes to dogs. So everything has to be done right, but also during the photo shoot time, please, your execution has to be on point. Whatever you have done in your mood board,
and not get diverted from what your ultimate goal is.
I'm not saying copy the mood board. I'm not asking you to copy the mood board. What I'm trying to say is that stay in that,
don't deviate too much.
Stay in that vibe of that photo shoot you're looking at, right? At the end of the day, we all are inspired from something or the other here and there. We are not making something new. So you have to stick to the same page, stick in the same range of work what you're looking at, not deviate yourself.
Because it's very interesting you say that, because I'm sure even you face this, is once you're on the shoot, although everything has been decided, in the middle of the shoot the client will come and just give you some random idea what they have in their brain at that point in time, and your entire shoot goes in a different direction.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So it's very important for you, because you're the guy who's running the show on that day. And it is very carefully you have to get your train back on track, so that you don't lose focus of what was decided. Because if you go in a different direction, your entire shoot might be a hit, then it's no problem. But if it doesn't work in that way, you've just wasted 1, 2, 3 or how much ever time that you change direction.
Of course.
It's a loss.
So I always make sure whenever I'm sending the quotation or whenever I'm saying the invoice, I always make sure I tell them that whatever we plan in the mood board is the only thing we are going to do. We're not going to experiment. I will do the experiment. Sometimes I do it. I know for a fact that, okay, this is going to work out. I want to give that extra to my client. That is something I want to do. But during the photo shoot, while we are into something, and then you come to me and tell me, okay, let's not do this, let's do this. We can't do that. Because we are prepared for this. We're not prepared for this right now.
Yeah. And you have to be strong enough to put your foot down, obviously in a very respectful manner.
Of course, definitely.
Because the client is paying you at the end of it. But yes, definitely get your point across.
Yes, for sure.
Today, upcoming photographer, if he wants to, get into fashion photography or any genre of photography for that matter, what would your tip be for him to start, and how should he reach the position that you are in today?
Okay, so see, I think there are two different answers for this particular question. There's one for the amateurs who has no idea about photography. them getting into industry. And there are a set of people, they have little idea about photography, they know the basics, but then now they need a mentorship. There's a two different roads altogether. So the person who have no idea about photography, now trying to get into this whole genre of work or this whole industry, I would suggest them to probably first thing, maybe start practicing, learn about photography from YouTube, understand, meet people. If you can, if you have the money, join the right institution. I say the reason I say this one particular thing, join the institution, is because for one goddamn reason, is because when I started photography, there was nobody to help me out. And trust me, if you're starting today, probably nobody will be able to help you out too. But if you can, please join an institution. When you go to institute, you meet your teachers, you meet your mentors, you meet the right kind of people who explains you what is right, what is wrong, provided you're passionate. So that is first answer what I have for all the beginners who's entering in the market, or for all the guys who have no idea about photography and trying to get into the market. So that's one thing for you. Please understand what you want to do. If you don't have the money, please learn from YouTube. Best thing. So much out there for free. Okay. Second, people who have little idea, who's into photography, who understand the basics, you choosing your mentorship. So now what happens is every single day I have stopped replying to people now because of this reason. Every single day I receive close to 10 to 15 messages, please have me as your assistant. But you guys have no idea why do you want to assist me. If today I want to assist you, what kind of work do you do? Is the first thing I want to ask myself. If you're a product photographer, am I also a product photographer? Then it makes sense for me to come to you and ask you, can I assist you? I'm a fashion photographer, you're a product photographer. Just because you're big in the industry, I come to you, will you be my mentor? I want to assist you. It doesn't make sense. Why the hell would you hire me? Because I don't have interest for product photography at all.
No, absolutely.
But I just want to come to you because you're famous. That's what all these guys, they go wrong.
Unfortunately, that is the case.
That is the case. You guys fall into this Instagram following range so badly, and that's where you fuck it up for yourself. You guys don't understand. If you're a fashion photographer, in fashion, what kind of work do you like? Now, do you like fine art? Do you like glamour? Do you like proper high fashion? Do you like editorial? There's so many types of photography. If you want to work under me, okay, do you understand the style of work what I do?
Absolutely.
So these are few tips and few things what I would like you to understand. If you want to assist under somebody, understand if that's your style. If you have a mentor, please respect them. Do not talk ill about them. Do not create hatred towards them. Once you learn from them, then later you want to create hatred towards them. Don't do that. That is something which is very important and which everybody should understand. Your mentor is guru. He or she is more than anything else.
So Shreyans, can you share with us what is the equipment that is in your kit bag? What equipment do you use to create the beautiful images that you do?
So this is A7R3. This is the body I use. This is this camera I bought I think around 3.5 years back. When this launched new, I bought that, and I've been using that ever since, and I never picked up A7R4. And then right now, since I already have this lens attached to my camera, this is 18mm. This is the widest lens I have.
That's the Zeiss, right?
That's the Zeiss Bartes 18mm, and this is one of my favorite wide-angle lenses. To be very honest, it is one of the finest lenses I've come across. So, and I never felt like going more wider. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't feel. Sometimes I don't understand why people they want to go more wider. But maybe me being as a fashion photographer, maybe I don't need to go more wider. So I'm pretty happy with this lens. Okay, second one is 20x70. This one is not very favorite lens of mine. It's a good lens, I won't deny. It's a nice, rigid, good body lens, 20x70, but not my favorite lens. Okay, coming back, I have my favorite lens. This is 85 1.4, and this is the first Sony lens I picked up. 85 1.4, pretty good lens, one of my favorite. And then I've got 90mm.
That's the macro.
That's the macro. So I have a story about this lens. Before this is not my first Sony lens. This is my first Sony lens. Before I picked up 85mm, I picked up 90mm because there was no 85mm for Sony during that time when I picked up.
Yeah, the G Masters weren't out yet.
Exactly, it wasn't out. Even Bartes 85 was not out then. And we only had was 90mm f2.8 macro. And then I needed something because I was always using Nikon lenses on my camera with the adapter. With the adapter, I had the first A7S. I think I first Sony camera was A7S. So I had to pick up this lens, and I hated this lens because it was slow, and A7S autofocus wasn't great. This lens was even more slower, and autofocus was really bad, and it always kept fidgeting around here and there. So I hated this lens. I did not understand the beauty of macro yet, right? I bought, then later A7R2 launched, and then I picked up A7R2. With that I was using this, and it was brilliant. It used to work nice, but again it was not so good with autofocusing yet, but it used to work good. So I never really liked this lens as much. Then I picked up this body, this 85 1.4, and I really loved it. So I hardly used it. I actually sold this lens to a friend of mine. I sold this lens to a friend of mine saying, I don't like this lens. I did not use the macro yet. I did not know the use of macro yet till then, right? So I was like, okay, I don't want to use this lens. I sold it to one of my friends. And then he used it for 2 months, 3 months, actually 4 months he used it. He actually gave me the money also. He gave me like half the money what I was expecting from him. He gave me the half the money, and then he said, okay, you keep the money, take this lens back. I don't want it. He also hated that lens. Okay. He also hated it. And then I was like, fine, take it. It came back to me and he gave me the money. He did not even ask me to give me the money back. So I was like, fine, take a free lens. Ab to pada rahega. And then I got into fashion and portraits and beauty. And then in beauty, all what you need is macro lenses. And this lens is like brilliant. It is sharp. Of course, it is fidgeting around. Autofocus still great, but this is sharp as hell. And the quality of this lens is mind-boggling. I really wish Sony made a version 2 of this lens with a better autofocus. But this is right now, keeping all the lenses aside, this is the favorite lens of mine. So one of the finest lenses for Sony users, if you want to use if you're into macro photography, especially if you're into beauty, this is the lens you really want to purchase. Beautiful. Right. Next is Nifty 50.
The Nifty 50.
The Nifty 50. Okay, so again, love and hate relationship with this lens. I bought this lens first, I sold it. I bought it again, I sold it again. I bought it again third time. This time I haven't sold it. I still use it. So the problem with this lens is, this lens quality is fuck all. It is worse than anything else. But problem is that this is the cheapest lens, cheapest 50mm you can find for Sony, and I've been wanting to buy 55mm for quite some time for Sony. But every single time I plan to buy that lens, I end up buying something else, and then I always make sure I have I keep my money in a range that if I'm investing here, then I can't invest anything else after that. I keep it at that base, right? I keep a note on what I'm investing and how I'm investing and why I'm investing and why do I need that. This lens, I was very excited to buy this lens. I spent good amount of money on this lens. This is called 70-200 f2.8, and I actually invested a lot of money for this, and very honestly, hardly have used this lens because this is not the lens I want to put in my backpack all the time. Pretty heavy lens to carry. So it's very rare. If I was shooting a concert, then I used to use this lens. And if I used to shoot fashion also, I used to use this lens, but ever since I started enjoying this and this, I don't really use this lens much. But I don't want to sell this lens is because in a year, once you want to use this lens, and this is the only lens you can use. There are so many shoots when I'm doing, this is the only lens I can use. So during that time, I don't need any one of these but this. So this is one lens you might need once in a while, but you need it. So you got to have it in your backpack. So this is my kit.
No, one point I really like that you made here, that every piece of kit that you purchase should and must have a role in your short list, yes, or in the way you're shooting or your style. Mm-hmm. Each piece must have an important role to play in, and accordingly you make your kit.
Yes.
Can you share with me what lights you use and what is the reason of choosing these particular lights?
When I got into photography, I joined a theatre company, and the reason I fell in love with photography was because of the theatre company, because over there I was also playing with lights. In theatres they have a lot of lights, right? Yes. And we were playing with lights, and I fell in love with lights, and that actually got me closer to photography. So I was looking at brown colors, while one of my friends, he said Profoto is launched in India, and I said okay fine, if Profoto is launched in India, matlab they will have a service center in India. So that is a better point, because if you buy a brown color, we don't have a service center in India, or probably you will not get the warranty.
Right.
So now I was like, okay, Profoto and brown color are the best brands in the world. So, and Profoto is not bad. Most of the photographers I admire, they all are using Profoto. So I should definitely go ahead and pick up Profotos. So at that time, whatever money I had saved up a lot of money. I sold all those Chinese lights, whatever I had. sold everything, and I picked up two D1. And I'll tell you, this is till date my favorite light. This light is everything what I needed. I needed a light which could give me at least 300 pictures on full power. This light does that yet. I needed a light which gave me good power, 500 watts. Yes. I needed a light which was easy to use. This light is the most extreme, easiest light possible. There's nothing extraordinary. It doesn't confuse you. Any person who switches on this light, they'll understand how to less the power, how to increase the power, how to decrease the power, how to switch on the modeling light, how to switch on the modeling light, how to change the channels. It's extremely easy, and that's the kind of light you need, because when you're working with new assistants, you do not want to go to them and teach them how to use a light.
Yes, you can't be fumbling on a shoot.
No, you can't be fumbling on the shoot, and this is what it does. This is the best. Their trigger, it's expensive. Whole light setup is expensive, guys, but trigger was also so easy. I used to use the other brand's triggers. They were so confusing. This trigger, straightforward ABC, straightforward system, what you want to use, how you want to use, increase the power, lessen the power, done, set, let's go, right? So this made my life easy. And believe it or not, before this lockdown, I think I was shooting one photo in Hyderabad. I was doing one photo shoot, and this light fell from 9 feet. It was working, only this broke. This screen broke, but it was working perfectly fine. I don't know how it does, but this works. And it fell like this, and it went like that from 9 feet. It's crazy. So that's why it's my favorite. Second, I have got 3 of these. And then next I bought is B10. This is 250 watts. So I was like, why 250 watts? First that was the question, but then I said, okay, fine, let me just test it out. And I actually got 2 of these lights from Profoto to test it out. And I tested these lights. So freaking good. 250 watts. If you add a Magnum along with it, Magnum will cost you around 14,000 bucks. Once you add Magnum along with it
the Magnum reflector.
Yeah, it doubles the power, and this light works like charm. And the battery backup, insane. It's insane. And the best part is you can control this light with your phone, so you don't really need to have a bigger trigger if you don't understand. You have a software for this. The plus point, few months back, I though love this light for the reason it is portable. Very portable, so small, does my job. So if I'm going on a travel, if I'm going to do a small shoot, a small campaign where I don't need much of a gear, all I need is 2 light. So I carry 2 light, 1 camera, 1 lens, and I'm good to go. I have nothing else to do. And plus point about these lights, I don't know what they've done with the whole thing. Okay, you can actually shoot open. You don't even need to use modifiers along with it. Sometimes I do that, at least with my photo shoots. I do so many times. I use it open fire without any modifiers, and it works like amazing. So all these things putting together, this is the perfect light that you can own, what you can put in your backpack. So that is what I'm looking at. I love being portable, and this is something which you want in your backpack. Now a few months back, they released a new firmware with which what you can do is you can actually shoot from an iPhone. So if you have an iPhone and you want to shoot a professional picture from an iPhone, raw, with this strobing, not LED strobe, proper strobe, you can use this light along with your mobile phone. So this is the perfect package, what you can ever own.
You've been shooting for, such a long time now. And during this time, I'm sure you've done different types of shoots with different concepts and different clients. There would definitely be a few photographs that have a special place in your heart. And few of them have definitely stuck with you throughout your career so far. So can you share with me, what these photos are and what is the story behind them?
Alright, so one day, me and my makeup artist, we were in Bandra. We walked into one of the candy shop, and we walked and we saw all these candies in different colors. We were like, dude, this looks very fascinating. क्या बोलती है? क्या करेंगे? She's like, Shrey, I have something in my mind. कुछ करते हैं क्या? बोला, अरे definitely. Because we both are getting fascinated looking at those colorful candies. Like, what to do? We're thinking. Like, I've got an idea. ऐसा करते हैं. बोला, हाँ, ये करते हैं. इसको आँखों में लगा देंगे. इसको ऐसे हाथ में पकड़ा देंगे. And then we'll get these, what you call, you get this party shop में you get these strings, silver color, golden color strings. So let's buy that and then let's just fill it up. कपड़े तो दिखाने नहीं अपन को, और तू हेयर एंड मेकअप ऐसे ही कैंडी के जैसे कर देने का, पूरा उसके चेहरे पे चिपका देंगे. सो me and my makeup artist were sitting and we're like, now okay, we have everything is ready, but who's the model? I'm like, अरे yes, अब क्या करेंगे? She's like, अरे this girl is there, let's work with her only. I saw her face, I was like, looks interesting, I think we can work it out. So on her Instagram, we did not have any photo like that, but the way I saw her face cut, I knew she could be the perfect. because she has to look like a doll, and she actually looks like a doll in the picture. And after the photo shoot was done, we got it featured in a magazine.
Oh, wow.
Also won one award in this photo shoot. And I was like, yeah, that's good. So this happened with this photo shoot. That's why it's one of my favorite photo shoot. And till date, a lot of people, they actually get back to me and they keep telling me this photo shoot is really nice. And the next photo shoot.
This one actually is one of my favorite photographs as well.
And this image is called Altered Carbon. Okay, so I was watching this one show on Netflix called Altered Carbon. And while I was watching this show, all I could imagine was a sci-fi image, right? And I'm just thinking I have to create this kind of image. But I was looking for a guy. I don't really shoot much with male models, but I was looking for a guy with a nice V-shaped face. That's very important for this photo shoot to turn out to be good. If you have a vertical egg face, it's not gonna work out. You need a man with a proper V-shaped, V jaw, and then this gotta be square and V. This is very important for this photo. And I have been looking for this guy and I'm not able to find. So one day I was at one of these small house parties and then I looked at this guy. I was like, dude, this is the right face. The moment I see your face, I'm like, okay, this is the guy I want. I walked up to him, dude, are you free tomorrow? He's like, why do you ask? I was like, I have to do a photo. I have an imagination. I have one picture in my mind. Are you ready? He's like, no. I was like, bro, this is the only chance you get to do a photo shoot with me. You want it or not? He's like, yeah, bro, done. I called him home. He came. I think this photo was done in like 5 minutes. I knew everything what I wanted. Okay, I had to put one light in the background. So this is one full light in the background. And that light is falling on his face. And that's about it. Okay, so this photo shoot, she called me. She's like, listen, I'm free right now. I'm around your house. Do you think we can do a small photo shoot? I was like, fine, take it. Because I had something in my mind for a long time. I had this one netted cloth material lying at my house for a very long time in Hyderabad. And I was like, I've been thinking to use that netted, material for the longest time. So I was like, okay. I was like, what are you wearing right now? She's like, I'm wearing normal clothes, but I have something in my bag right now, which I think we can use it for our photo shoot. That's why I'm calling you. I'm close to your house. Let's do it. So I was like, okay, fine. She wore her clothes and she was looking hot, looking very nice. But I was like, I don't want to show hotness in this picture. Let's do something else. Let's show the body in that way, but hide the face. Right, so this is just an imagination I had in my mind. I did not take any inspiration from any picture or any any kind of this thing. Kya bolte hain? Reference from any picture. There must be many pictures like this, no doubt. But it was just in my mind. I just wanted to play with that netted material on her body, on her face. So she wore her outfit, and I put that material on her face, and it just took 1 or 2 pictures, I think. We created actually 3-4 good pictures. There were more few pictures, but this was my favorite, where the eyes is not in focus completely, but still she's looking into the camera. It speaks a lot of story. And I actually won award on this picture also. And the reason I showed you all awarded pictures only because I thought these are my favorite pictures. So this had nothing to do. There was no plan, nothing at all. All of a sudden she was there, and then we just happened to shoot. But the reason why I'm trying to tell you award again and again is because I want to. I think the last pro tip we were talking about, I'm going to give you this right now, is because what happens is every time you pick up your camera, you pick it up to do something with those pictures, or else don't pick up your camera. I feel why I say that is, don't click a picture to upload on Instagram. Don't click a picture to post it on your Facebook or any other social media site, but try to do something out of it. Maybe get it featured on a magazine, maybe win an award, maybe at least submit it somewhere. At least you will have a worth for that picture, or else it doesn't make sense. Why did I even shoot a picture? Right? So I think this is the most important tip what I would give to any photographer, any professional. Maybe it could be the high-end photographer possible, but most of the photographers, they don't do that. They shoot pictures. If they're doing a test shoot, they'll shoot and they'll move on. They'll be like, हाँ ठीक है, photo shoot हो गया, upload कर दो, बात खत्म. But there's something else you could do with those pictures. Can you plan something about this? Can you do something with the picture which you shot? So next time when you pick up your camera, think 1,000 times and make sure you're shooting much better than the last time what you shot, and get them featured somewhere at least. Yeah.
Shooting with intent.
Shooting with intent. That's very important.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, Shreyans, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you so much for having me. It was lovely, man.
So guys, that's about all the time we had for in this episode. If you wish to see the work of Shreyans, all the links are in the description. If you want to contact him, his website and all his links are there in the description. And I hope you found this video of a little bit of use to you. So please do give us a like and subscribe, and please drop us a comment, and we shall see you in the next
But
one.
one last thing I have to tell them: if you guys want to learn photography, please contact
Oh,
me.
yes.
No problem. I can teach you photography a little bit, a bit. What I know, I can always share my knowledge. I love sharing knowledge. It'll cost you something, but
Definitely. And guys, you should really take his mentor class. It is amazing.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. All right then.
Bye bye.
We are done. चलो pro tip निकल ही गया इनमें.
अरे I'm telling you, shoot with intent. Shoot with intent. Tagline क्या तेरा?